I'm excited also to introduce our guest speaker today. Michael Baxley is the Director of Englewood Arts and has exciting insights on the plans for the new Public Arts Center project in Englewood. So please help me welcome.
Thank you, Santi. And I also want to thank Lori. What a great presentation. So thank you for that. And it's kind of hard to follow, so I'll see what I can do to keep the excitement there. For those, I know, seeing as Lori had said about her presentation, I think a lot of you have heard maybe a little bit about Englewood Arts, so I'm going to try not to be too redundant. But I do want to address Englewood Arts for those that aren't familiar. And Englewood Arts is a new nonprofit organization that started in Englewood to address community improvement using arts as the catalyst. So I am former director of Belger Arts Center, and I was asked to come aboard last October to help the organization and strategize how you use arts as a tool, but also preserve the community. And I got really excited about this project and this opportunity. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity in October to come on as director. And I believe that this is a really unique approach to community improvement. And being an arts advocate for more than 20 years, I've never seen arts used in this way. And when we think about the Crossroads community, we recognize that arts has been wonderful about developing that area, bringing life to the downtown area. I grew up in the 80s, and I remember walking down, and after 5 o'clock, everybody ran out to the suburbs, and it was a very quiet place. Now it's very lively, vibrant. But the artists and the folks that really kind of helped start the downtown development, they're not down there anymore, and they're looking for where is the next place, where can I go and be part of a community, but not be gentrified out. And so that's really some of the challenges that we're tackling, and we're doing that through our nonprofit, Englewood Arts, which is a two-pronged organization. And so how we're looking at a more holistic approach to community development, one being with the Community Arts Center, and secondly, with affordable and sustainable housing. We had purchased in February the former CMH building in Englewood from the City of Independence, which the City Council, which John was part of, voted unanimously to sell us that building for the development of Independence's first community arts center that I'm not aware of any other community arts center of this kind in the history of Independence. Thinking about the 3 trails and the rich history going all the way back, this will be the first community arts center of its type in not just Independence, but really in the region. And so the Arts Center I'm going to spend most of the time talking about today because that's really what we're focused on at the moment. But the second prong with affordable housing, I'm just going to touch briefly on that as well. And that's kind of the second phase that's going to be coming in on the tail of the development of the Arts Center. I'm going to move to the next slide. So this is the building that we purchased. There's a rendering in kind from Terry Meeks, Prairie Studios, of what the building could be. And it's already kind of changing and taking shape as we speak, thanks to the Civic Council. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But the building's been purchased, and we have some initial plans for the building. The idea of a community arts center is taking one of the largest buildings in the region or in that area that's blighted and converting it into something that's pleasant to look at, but also pleasant to be part of, and inviting the community in and putting them side by side with artists. So on the right side there, you'll see some areas of focus that we're working in within those 3 prongs of visual arts, performing arts, and culinary arts. When we started the Arts Center and the planning and the detailed planning of it, we were trying to do something different. We don't want to build another arts thing. Kansas City is full of arts, and Independence is full of arts. So we don't want to replicate what's already in place. What we really want to do is focus on the need and filling the gaps in the arts community. So you'll see on the right, after serving many groups of artists, serving community members, Tammy Parsons, who's our executive board member and community chair, and John Perkins, who took part in those community meetings, we got a lot of feedback from the community and from artists alike of what would they like to see, not just for the community, but for this arts center. So part of that and surveys we've come up with a strategic plan of some initial programming. But keep in mind, the building, just recently, we've hauled out, I just found out yesterday, 150,000 tons of material has been removed from the building, and now it's wide open creative spaces. So that part is done, and we're moving into another phase of painting and refinishing, as well as not just the interior, but the exterior. We did start mostly from the inside. With that said, we want to have a variety of visual arts and performing arts and culinary arts, but the building's going to be a space with no permanent walls. Movable walls, things, a chance for us to expand and contract the building based on the community's response of what their needs are and what the excitement is. So I'm going to point out just a couple things, because I heard Innovation Center mentioned, who's is a partner with us. But glass blowing, I'm going to use that as one example of many of the different types of art forms. But right now, there is no community glass blowing studio in the region. The closest is the Omaha Hot Shops. So not only will this be Kansas City's, Independence's, the region's first community glass blowing studio, it's going to serve not just Independence, but folks in the entire region. The Kansas City Art Institute has expressed that they're wanting to expand their glass program to include glass blowing. Well, those graduates are not going to stay in Kansas City if there's no place to blow glass. This art center and the programming is going to be unique, and it's going to bring just another identity to Independence. You guys have rich history here. There's so much wonderful things about Independence. This is just going to be another thing that makes Independence great. With our partners and I mentioned before about being an attractive place for artists to come and work. We want to put them side by side with the existing community. Actually, this week we're working on a mural it actually made possible through the Independence Civic Council with a generous grant. Where this Friday at 6:30 we'll be unveiling that mural and having a ceremony around that. But my point is this week that we've been installing this mural, I've had countless people stop and go, "What is this going to be?" And I go, "Community Arts Center. It's for us, and we want you to come be part of it." And they go, "Oh, that's fantastic, I can't wait." So I'm directing them to our website, getting their names, but the community's really responded, they want this. And so we're putting artists side by side with the community and some community partners. Hope House has a location right in Englewood. And of those 64 beds, half of those are children. So those children are going to benefit from our summer arts camp program, our after-school programming that we're doing with the Independence School District. We want to be a true community arts center where we're using arts, but it's something that transcends all other things that you may come from. It doesn't matter what your background is, we can join together and use the universal language of art to bring everyone together. I'm going to move to the next slide. So Hope House, Independence School District. Mark has Mid-America Regional Council has an Aging in Place program. We'll be working with seniors, veterans. It really is a place for everyone. So if you go on artistic, you don't need to be artistic to come and appreciate either watching art, hearing art, or getting your hands in art. And you'll have an opportunity to do all of those things. As I mentioned before, I'm going to touch on this just for a moment, is the mural that we're installing. This is just a rough rendering that was presented to the Civic Council. That they generously awarded us a grant for $8,000 to not just give an artist stipend, but to then go out in the community and collect portraits of people. The artist that was selected, Julie, who is a Gazanel, who is a resident of Englewood, she went out and collected over 50 portraits of people right in Englewood, and we're going to be unveiling those portraits on the building this Friday. So we're really excited. I'm going to invite you all, if you have an opportunity to come by between 6:30 and 8, we will be having that ceremony, and then we'll be going to Wind Down 109 across the street to further our celebration. And this is just some progress to show you and kind of update those that know Englewood. We had a wonderful, as soon as the Civic Council made the announcement of the grant, I went right to work seeing what kind of partners that would like to help us further that grant through their partnership. And so Mean Green Blasting stepped up right away and said, we would like to help restore that limestone facade. And so they do a type of special sandblasting, And so you can see in the far right corner just how moldy and disarray that was. And you can see where Dave is going through and just the top to what he's done at the top and at the bottom, the difference. It's phenomenal. And then the bottom right was right after he was done. So we have a really bright, beautiful facade. And we're putting in landscaping this week thanks to Vivial Ward and executive chef Witt, who's also the owner. So we have really a lot of people, and those are just some of the people that are playing in this right now. So the community's really coming together, showing support for this community arts center. And it's just really wonderful to see that. From that community support that we're getting, we're also being really attractive for outside organizations, which I'll get to a little bit more. For the sake of time, I'm just going to touch briefly on the housing component. What you're seeing here is a map of the Englewood area. This map represents what's called the Englewood Arts District Overlay, and it's a type of zoning that will overlay the existing zoning. And this is that holistic approach I talked about. Now we have a really cool art center that we're building, and it's for you, it's for me, it's for artists, it's going to attract artists, it's going to be for people in the community. But if artists come, if people are coming, we want to not just address a place to work, but a place to live. And that's really where the housing component comes in. And so this represents about 35 different homes. The red and the oranges and the gray areas represent vacant lots, blighted buildings. And what we really ultimately are using this as a tool to show progress. So as we go back and continually update this map and reevaluate it, we want to see the colors change from red and orange to blue and green. That line, that vein that goes right down the middle is Winter Road, and the Arts Center building is kind of that big red dot in the middle. By us renovating that building, we'll immediately be turning a red building into a blue or green building and making an impact right there on Winter Road. With that said, the Arts District overlays the type of zoning that we're going to be taking out into the community. The zoning was written in part with the help of the City of Independence, Missouri, but also with help from the community. That zoning just is a real simple thing. It allows for tiny homes to be built, so houses under 1,000 square feet. You'll see on the right side is a house that's less than 1,000 square feet. We want to do homes that are in alignment with the existing architecture, so we're not looking to disrupt the neighborhood, but instead enhance it. So that's one of the parts of the housing. It also allows you as an artist to make art and sell art in your home within certain hours. So you can have a gallery. If you're a culinary artist, you can have an eatery in your home and seat up to 12 people. So this is something real popular on the West Coast. That you see in Seattle, little neighborhoods, you go in there and there's these wonderful little eateries. So we're bringing that to the Midwest. It'll be the first of its kind. With this type of zoning, it's going to allow the area to blossom. One of our major partners, and Christina Leakey is here, president of Truman Habitat for Humanity. She was one of those that really grabbed on to what we were doing and understood what we were doing and came in as a partner saying, okay, well, it's great that you're changing the zoning, you're being attractive to artists, but how can we help support the folks that are already here? And you don't want to push them out. So what services can we bring to enhance their lives? And so we have a strategy with Habitat, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but there's a lot of different strategies for helping the folks that are already here existing. And part of that is through a block rehabilitation program where we can go down with Habitat and volunteers and really fix up people's homes that are here. So not only if you're here, you get to have a cool new neighbor and a tiny little house, but you also get to have a neighbor that's helping you bring your house up. So artists are naturally, I've been in the arts, like I said, more than 20 years. Artists are naturally developers. They're community minded. They want to make their area cool, but they don't want to be pushed out, and that's really what we're focused on. Move to the next slide. There we go. And I should just mention to kind of further the update, we've hosted over 150 personal lunches with different regional leaders, not just within Independence, but outside. All of them are really enthusiastic. They have all expressed that they haven't seen arts used in the way that we're using it. you see art centers being built, you see housing, but rarely do you see the two combined, where now you have a community touchstone and you have a housing component. So we've had tremendous support, and these are just some of the folks that were quick to say, we want to help, we want to be part of this. Beyond that, to really update you, we were excited because we started in October soliciting our 8-member board, of which one of our board members, Jill Esri, is here tonight or today. And through our 8-member board, we were able to raise $300,000 in gifts and pledges right away, which is remarkable. I've never seen a board give that kind of pledge. And our board president, Terry Snap, was really leading this idea of how can we turbocharge what we're doing and really persevere. And we took that number from our board to the Sunderland Foundation. And the Sunderland said, we're really excited about what you're doing, want to be part. So they matched our $300,000 with another $300,000. So we now have raised $600,000 with a challenge grant from the Sunderland Foundation. So from there, we took that number into the Rotary, into the J. Dunn, and recently the Rotary just voted to make us the recipient of their annual Mardi Gras event. So we are just thrilled to be partnered with the Rotary, and what that showed support from independents is just remarkable. And when we meet with our folks such as A.J. Dunn from outside, and we are able to talk about Independence wants this, and they're showing us through their support, it's bringing in all that other interesting and outside support. So we're just thrilled to have some of our other partners. I would also just like to mention up here real quick too, Bernstein and Rain. They were one of the first ones to come in and say, we want to help you with marketing. And so all of our marketing is being provided in kind through Bernstein and Rain. And not only do they want to help with the marketing, but when we heard about the Mardi Gras event, and then we went and asked them, would you guys be interested in helping us with marketing on the Mardi Gras? And they go, we'd be insulted if you didn't ask. So they're also helping with the marketing of that. So this is just a really exciting thing, something new for Independence, and just a new identity. I'm just going to leave you here with a list of our board members, and I would invite you to do two things. I'd like you to visit our website. It's englewoodarts.art, and I'd really like to have you come to our Friday event this Friday at 6:30. Outside the building, we're going to be unveiling that amazing mural through the support that we've gotten through the Civic Council and our other sponsors. So thank you guys, and I will be available and hanging around after for a few minutes if anybody has questions or wants to talk more about Englewood Arts. We're just really excited to bring this arts identity